business is this vehicle where you can bring together experience and opinions and things from multiple walks of life and use that to serve people and to create something that's useful for people. And so that ended up becoming sort of the perfect sport for me to play as someone with varied background, interest in a lot of things, sort of jack of all trades, master of none. Leading a business for me is a really satisfying way to bring that stuff together. My name's Craig Nashleanas. I'm a lifelong Omahan, and I run a company called Lens Distortions. We make meaningful music for serious storytelling. To start, we were a visual effects company, and we built a lot of ideas that we thought were good there. And my business partner had the foresight to say, I think we have a lot of great visual effects offerings, but what our community needs is sound effects. And so that was a big break for us to venture into that space. It was a little unknown for us, but the market really needed it. And from that, we very naturally started just making music and started getting better at that. And I think eventually really good at that. And that kind of became the company. I think it's a testament to just not ever compromising on the quality, on the vision, on the conviction about what these things should be. And you kind of stick your head down and commit to that sort of thing. And eventually that work starts to speak for itself, and it starts to kind of stand apart in a sea of options that are out there. People recognize something that's special and distinct and helpful for the type of work that they're doing. I grew up with a camera in my hand and kind of saw that as a path to having a career of some sort. I picked this broadcasting and video path because I knew it was a major that I could finish. And a few weeks after I had kind of picked that major to transfer to UNO, I had gone to my first big Omaha conference, which exposed me to the world of startups. And I realized, oh, this is like a really interesting space where you can create value, you can build things for people, and the world is your oyster. You can do anything here. And so at that moment, I kind of realized, I actually want to build businesses. I want to build brands. And it was only a few weeks later after that actually my dad suddenly passed away. And so I had this moment where I needed to become an adult overnight. That was really a motivator for me to say, hey, let's figure out this business thing. Let's see how the world works through a business lens and really figure out how to go build value for people so that I could become an adult who put food on the table and did those sorts of things. So that was really this pivotal moment where all these things came together at once. And really it felt like providential, just that this terrible thing would happen in my life, but that these resources and this path would sort of open up that I could go down. I think from the beginning, we've never seen being based in the Midwest, kind of being based out of Omaha, as any sort of limitation. We knew if you built good stuff, people would find it. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you are doing something that people find useful, they'll find you. And so us, a company that started in Omaha, we never saw it as out of reach for us to serve some of the biggest brands in the world. And, we're deeply grateful and satisfied to be seeing some of those brands taking advantage of what we're doing now. We've always been motivated by, if you're going to do something, it should always be done to the highest level. My business partner is fond of quoting Christopher Nolan, one of the most famous filmmakers out there, who's always talking about this idea that, like, if you're going to make a film, you have to enter it with this mentality of it needs to be like the greatest possible film that you could possibly make. Now, it doesn't mean you're always going to reach that ideal, but if you're not going into that with that mentality, why even put the effort in? Because there is so much work required. And we've always sort of taken that ethos and put it into the work we're doing. Hey, if you're going to make a musical album, why not make it the best possible musical album that you can, full of emotion, full of meaning, full of soul? And so that's what we've done. I'm very proud of the way that we've gone about doing things. And I think that the outcome, the music that we make, the stories that we get to be part of powering, they speak for themselves. I think that's what gives me confidence in a world full of plenty of other players, full of disruptive technology, whatever you want to say. Like, if you are doing something with conviction, which you can do from Omaha, Nebraska, or anywhere in the world, like, you will find an audience for that. You will find a customer base for that. If you're doing something that is not a commodity, you're doing it in a differentiated way, like, there are people that value that, and it will get you somewhere. In hindsight, I kind of think about it as, life is in the woods and you're trying to make it through the woods and people are going at different paces and whatnot. And that moment for me was really like a existential, like I got to figure out how to get out of the woods moment. And business was this thing I latched onto and kind of ran with. And I had this relationship with my business partner that existed before that, and things really kind of came together at that point. And 10 years in of sprinting through the woods, I'd like to say that I've learned more recently that life actually is the woods, and none of us are making it out of the woods. And so there is something to finding the right pace, to setting up camp, to enjoying, time with others and enjoying and celebrating the moments in business, but of course the moments in life too. Not having kids and watching them grow up pass you by, not letting just the stuff happening down the street in your own community pass you by, and just getting all wrapped up in work. So I think, I'm really grateful for business. I'm really grateful for this brand and this company that I've got to build. It's taught me so much, but it's just one meaningful part of my story and one meaningful part of life. And so I'm grateful for that, but it's not everything, right? And so it is something you get to spend a lot of meaningful hours on, but also sort of put down and say, I've done enough for today, and I'll pick that back up tomorrow or next week.